know this is a very impromptu live, and I haven't gone live in a while, but we're here today because I have some amazing information to share with you, and I need to go live. I've been trying to go live like for the last 2 weeks, for real. And one of the things that's happened has been virtual learning. So previously, like my kids were, my daughter goes to a charter school and my son was in pre-K, but they're both virtual learning full time. So I went from zero to having both kids at home in the same week. And so it was an adjustment, but we're making it. And I know some of y'all have been getting it since August. Hats off to you, because when I tell you virtual learning at home with two kids, two small kids is an entire beast. I mean, it's difficult to begin with, but I don't think that people are like really considering like the mental and emotional aspect of it. But you know what? We got to push through anyway. So today, I'm talking about From Your Book to the Stage, 3 keys to go from author to paid speaker. So we're going to get started in a couple of minutes. I just need to get set up on Instagram. But go ahead and share this out to your audience. Go ahead and leave a comment for me below. I'm going to pull my phone right here. Leave a comment for me below. If you're with me, let me know where you're located. Let me know what your book is about, and why you want to speak. I'm going to go ahead and get finished setting up on Facebook and get set up on Instagram. So I see that my whole title didn't come through. I need to change my title on here because it's only showing the title to this free download. But today we're talking about From Your Book to the Stage. 3 keys to becoming, 3 keys to go from author to paid speaker. So just let me get set up here, guys. Then we are going to get started. So I appreciate y'all being patient with me. I've honestly been resting all day, and I've been resting all day because we have Write Your Book weekend starting tomorrow. So I've been disconnected all day, and I'm going to disconnect a bit more next week so I can recuperate. But when you're going into 3 full days of teaching, and teaching a fairly, intermediate sized group, you got to get your rest so that you can execute and show up properly. I don't think that I saved that properly. There we go. All right. Hey, DeJaneiro. Hey. I wish I could go in here and change this, the title. I have to change the title after I shoot. And I'm also active. What's going on Instagram? Is Instagram gonna work today? Because Instagram is working today. Because Instagram had been acting a little janky there too. Okay. All right. So hello. Welcome everyone. And welcome to the live stream today. My name is Jasmine Womack, and they call me the Six-Figure Storyteller. My clients call me the Harriet Tubman of self-publishing. They refer to me as Coach Coach J-Dub, all kinds of things, right? They call me Purpose Pusher. I don't make these titles up. This is what my clients call me. But I am the Six-Figure Storyteller. I help corporate professionals package your experiences and your expertise into a highly impactful book that you can actually turn into a business. All right. So if you're wanting to share your story, if you're wanting to take your credentials that you've gotten from your college degrees and from your corporate experience and make it work for you and package that into an impactful book which you can use to start and or grow and expand your business, then I'm the person that you want to come to. All right. So I'm super excited to be here today. Now we're just going to jump right into it because I'm actually supposed to take my kids to the park before it gets dark. So, and I'm gearing up for my boot camp tomorrow, which is a phase one of the boot camp, which is Write Your Book Weekend. So I'm going to be working with over 20 authors to help them write the first drafts of their books. And so I've been resting all day and I need to continue to go get some rest. But I wanted to come on today to share this information with you guys. So from your book to the stage, 3 keys to go from author to paid speaker. So I've introduced myself, and if you're tuning in, you probably kind of seen me around doing what I do, which is helping people to expand their platforms and grow their brands through storytelling. All right. And so just a little backstory for those of you all who may not necessarily know much about me. I'm a former educator. I was a middle school educator for 12 years. Yes, I taught. I taught 8th grade for like 7 years. I taught 6th grade for like 2 or 3 years. And then I taught 7th grade for 2 years. And while I was an educator, I was also the writing coach. I was team lead. I held various leadership positions. I did everything that that they say you should do. And DeJaneiro on Facebook, I didn't call me that. If you read my first Forbes article, that's what they referred to me as. So in the first Forbes article that was published in summer of 2020, the journalist referred to me as the Harriet Tubman of self-publishing, and she still calls me that. So yeah, I didn't make that up. I literally did not make that up. But yeah, so I held various leadership roles in my career as an educator, and I always had the desire to write, but I didn't have the courage or the confidence to put myself out there until finally enough became enough. I felt really literally deep. I felt it deep in my soul. Like I said, it was just God pushing me to go ahead and get my book out, and I'm glad that I did, because when I stopped procrastinating and I actually got it done, that was the beginning of the rest of my life. Literally, after I wrote my book, everything catapulted. I started speaking, I started coaching, I started providing services. To about a year and a half after my book released, I was able to leave my job. So I had exceeded, whereas as an educator, I was making around $3,500 a month with 3 degrees. By the time I left my job, I was already at $8,000 to $9,000 per month in my business. In 3 months after I left my job, I hit my first 5-figure month and haven't made anything less than since. As a matter of fact, now I'm close to 6 figures per month. So when I tell you that I built it from the ground up, with investing in myself, putting in the work with coaching, getting coaches, executing, believing in myself, even when I thought it didn't work out. I know what it feels like to build a business from the ground up. And my coaching business and my author speaking coaching business was not the first business that I've had. I come from a family of educators, and I come from a family of entrepreneurs. So I've had non-emergency transportation business. I used to have an apparel business, all kinds of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So this wasn't my first rodeo, but that is just a little bit about my background. So as an author, when I wrote my first book, it was never my intention to become a speaker. It literally was not. It was never my intention to become a speaker. Even though I spoke every single day on my job, even though on my job I had to have these amazing, engaging presentations, it was never my intention to become a speaker. I just wanted to write books. But one of the things was that I realized after I wrote my book was that if I wanted to get my book into the hands of as many people as possible, I had to speak. Now, I will say this: speaking does not mean that I had to be like Dr. Eric Thomas and be, the hurrah motivational speaker, because I'm not that type of speaker, right? But I knew that I had to get visible, and I knew that I had to communicate a high quality message, okay? And so I call myself an accidental speaker because it was never anything that I set out to do. I wasn't one of those people that say, hey, I want to speak and I'm going to start speaking. Matter of fact, my thing was I want to write my books. And that's how I started. And from writing, when I wrote my book, people started asking me to come speak because they saw me promoting my book all the time. And then that evolved into conferences, that evolved into workshops, and so many other things, right? So I went from writing my book, becoming an accidental speaker who never ever intended to speak, to now being hired, and getting paid 4 and 5 figures for in-person and virtual training sessions. My first corporate contract was last spring, and I got a 5-figure contract to do about 9 one-hour sessions. When we talk about 5 figures, I got awarded, I think it was like around $37,000 to do 9 one-hour sessions. So you mean $37,000 to teach for 9 hours over a period. It was 1 hour over a period of 9 weeks. That's the type of income that you can get in paid speaking. Even most recently, I got awarded a 4-figure. I got hired for a 4-figure paying contract to do a 30-minute virtual training. Okay, so I'm not telling you something that I'm thinking off the top of my head. These are things that I've done. These are things that I've learned from years of professional speaking, coaching, and things that I'm doing in my business right now. And these are also some of the things that I teach my students in my mastermind. So now we're going to get into it. How to go from your book to the stage. 3 keys to go from author to paid speaker. Okay. So this is going to be pretty quick because, like I said, I got to take my kids to the park. All right. So number 1, and I see y'all in the chat. I see you guys in the chat on Instagram. Okay. Hey, number 1, when you write your book strategically, you will be aware of your target reader and the problem that you solve. So when you write your book strategically and you are aware of your target reader, you are aware of the problem that you solve, your path to speaking will be much, much easier. Okay? When you say you want to speak, you have to be clear what you want to speak about. And you have to be clear about the type and level of value that you are adding to your audience. Point blank, period. Hey, Nadia. But when you are going from author to paid speaker, when you write your book with this clarity, with this level of clarity, it's going to make your journey as a professional speaker 10 times much easier because you're going to know who your target market is. So that means that when you actually go to research these places that you want to speak to, it's going to be a lot easier for you to find the industries and find the organizations because you're going to know who you need to go speak to. All right? And this and your speaking topics need to be in alignment with your book. So that way, when you are in negotiation for your proposal and for your amount and for the all the details that go into speaking, you can also include bulk orders of books in your proposal. This is how you escape, and get out of selling your book one by one, or individual sales on social media. You identify who your target audience is. You identify the problem that you solve. And when you are in talks with them to get booked to speak, you can negotiate for them to not only pay you to speak, but also to purchase a bulk order of your books, which is going to increase the amount that you get paid. Now, if you write your book on one topic or you are unclear on what you're writing about, who you're writing to, and the problem that you solve, and you're not able to articulate that, with the meeting planner or with the organizer or with the gatekeeper, then you're going to miss out on money. Okay? So you need to know that, and it starts off with your book. This is why I'm very, very clear. This is why I'm really big on people getting the help they need from the very beginning and making sure that you write your book strategically, because there's so many people out here who feel like they've written their book and they're good to go, but then after the book comes out, they can't make any money with it and they don't understand why. It's because your product is not quality. It's because you're not clear on the value that you provide. You're not clear on the problem that you solve. You're not clear on the audience that you're speaking to, and you don't know how to spin those topics. You don't know how to spin, the topic or theme of your book into fitting or solving or being the solution, that a company or organization needs. Okay? So it really all starts off with your book. And when you have the clarity about your target reader, the problem that you solve, and the value that you provide, then your path to speaking is going to be that much easier. Number 2, okay? The second key to go from author to paid speaker is to include your frameworks into your books, and you can turn your book into a signature speech. So when your book is solution oriented, when your book is reader focused and not writer focused, when your book is reader focused and not author focused, then it's going to be that much easier for you to take your book, take the title of your book, or take some chapters of your books, take some chapters from your book and turn those into different presentations and workshops. Okay? So again, you can turn your book into a signature speech. If you have a framework and you title your book surrounding your framework, like, how to develop your spark, just for example. And spark can be an acronym where each letter stands for something, a different word in your method, right? And then in your signature talk, you could say, this is the 5-step spark framework to creating systems in your life and business. So there's immediate alignment between the book and the speech. Okay? So you can literally turn your book into your signature framework. Taking a chapter, you can take a story. Into your signature speech. You can take your chapter, you can take a story, you can take lessons from your book. Okay? Or you can take the framework that you use in your book, especially for my coaches out there, and you teach from a framework. You can take that framework that you use in your book or you teach in your book, and you can turn that and title it as your signature speech. Very, very easy. It's an easy transition. It's a super easy flow. Okay? And it's an easy way to make you stand out as a qualified and credible expert in your industry and in your field. Because here's the thing. You want to become known as the go-to person. When somebody's looking, say somebody's looking for, an expert in self-defense. You've written a book on self-defense, methods for single moms. Okay, you have the program. You can take your book and turn it into a speech, especially when you have the experience doing it, right? You want to become known as a go-to person. So this way, when somebody says, hey, I need someone who's an expert in self-defense. I need someone who can come teach women, 3 easy things that they can do to protect themselves if they're out at night alone. You should be top of mind. You should be the first person that people think of. And if you're not, that means that you have some work to do. Because at the end of the day, you can have all the products in the world. You can have, all of the, you can have the book, you can have the speech prepared. But this is going to actually lead me into my third step. Like, people need to know who you are. So marketing is required. So the third key to go from author to paid speaker is to know that you need a marketing plan. So just like when it's time for you to launch your book, okay? And Stacey, I see that you say you have a workshop from your book. Excellent. Everybody should. You should have a workshop, a coaching program, and a signature speech aligned with your book. And thank you all for everybody who's liked this video, who shared this. Please continue to share this out. If you know some people who need this, tag them in this video. If you're on Instagram, you can just click the airplane button down below and you can share this video to your friends' inboxes. Like I said, I'm keeping this really short. I've been resting all day. I have Write Your Book a weekend starting tomorrow. So I've been trying to conserve my energy all day. I've literally been napping. So I wanted to come on and do this live stream. And so after this, I'm going to take my kids to the park and I'm going to go lay back down. So, so number 3 is that marketing is required. Because yes, you can have the book. You can have the signature speech. Okay? You can have all of this. But it doesn't matter if nobody knows that you exist. Rory, I need to interview you. Yes. You booked this. I remember you booked the speaking. You booked a couple of speaking engagements the same week that you released your book, and they were pretty large speaking engagements. Okay, so marketing is required. So the same way that you need a marketing plan when you release your book, you need a marketing plan to promote yourself as a speaker. And this is what people tend to forget. You have to brand yourself as a speaker as well. Like people, if you say that you're a speaker, people need to see you speaking. Point blank, period. And I think that one mistake that a lot of speakers make is that, or aspiring speakers make, is that you think that speaking is only limited to traveling somewhere and speaking in front of an audience. No. Okay? We have virtual engagements. I'm going live right now. This is speaking as well. Because you know what? I can take this video. I can chop it and repurpose it and take different video clips from it and use it throughout the week. I can take the same video and put it on YouTube. So that if someone wants to see an example of my presentation style and my delivery, especially in a virtual format, then I have a body of work to show for that. I can literally take a 60-second clip and put this in, and then put the link to the clip in an email that I'm sending to someone, to provide value to them. Okay? So you have to market. Market doesn't mean that you put yourself out there and just say, hey, I'm speaking, book me. Why should anybody book you? What are you talking about? What value are you providing? Do you have a contact form set up on your website? Do you have speaking clips set up on your website? Do you have these things? Is there a body of work that we can find of you speaking? Okay, so yes, branding is required. You're going to have to brand yourself. So like when people come, if you say that you're a speaker and you want to get booked and paid to speak, when people type in your name in Google, what comes up? Are they going to see thirst trap pictures? Are they going to see reposts of, when they pull up your profile, are they going to see reposts of a lot of different memes or, a ton of content that has nothing to do with your core message? What are people going to find when they search you up? And let me tell you something. You never know who was watching you. You never know who was watching you. You never know who was watching you. So you need to have you need to bring your best presentation online. So yes, branding is required and relationships are required as well. Meaning that you have to build a relationship with the gatekeepers. You need to know the type of speakers they bought in. You need to know the events that you want to speak at, the organizations you want to speak to, who's in charge of bringing in speakers for those organizations. You need to know how to stop them. Guys, give me a second because I'm not stop them, but you need to know how to find them. Give me a second because I need to turn my video recorder back on. Give me 1 second. Uh-oh. Oh. Well, my HDMI card is full, so I was recording myself on my camcorder to repurpose this on YouTube. So I guess I'll have to use the Facebook download, the Facebook recording. But yeah, you have to build relationships. So you don't want to be the person just hopping in somebody's email or DM trying to get them to book you to speak, and they've never even seen you, they've never heard of you, they know absolutely nothing about you. You need to know who they are, and you need to start nurturing the relationship way ahead of time. Probably about 3 months before, you want to get booked, or 3 months before an engagement. And in building the relationship, okay, and in building your brand, you have to be able to articulate the value that you provide. So I did an interview with someone last week. They wanted to interview me, and the first thing they said was, "So what do you do?" What do you do? Tell us about yourself. And you need to be able to confidently articulate who you are, what you do, who you serve, and the problem that you solve. Literally, in less than 10 to 15 seconds. If you find yourself stumbling and being long-winded and doing this whole long explanation, you don't know, you're unclear, and they don't know, and they're not clear either. That's the truth. So you need to be able to articulate very clearly and very quickly, get to the point, who you are, what you do, who you serve, and the problem that you solve. So when someone asks me, what is it that you do? I said, I work with corporate professionals and small business owners. I help them package their experience and their personal experiences and their professional expertise into an impactful book. And what this means is that this audience, they know that they're working with fish grease. They know that they bring value. And generally, they're great writers, but they don't know how to communicate it. And so they want to write an impactful book to either start or grow their business or their brand and make their credentials work for them. And that's what I teach them how to do. And then after the book, I teach them how to take their book and expand it and create a six-figure business through obtaining visibility through PR and the media, through high-end speaking and premium price group coaching programs. Very clearly, very confidently. There was no stuttering. There was no and I do this and I do that and you see da da da. I'm like, this is who I help. This is who I serve. This is the problem that I solve. This is the solution that people get from working with me. To the point. And I ended up being the person that they selected for the opportunity. Now, not only do you have to be able to communicate that verbally, but you also have to be able to communicate that in your marketing materials as well, through your speaking topics, through the descriptions, and through the bulleted points, which outline the specific things that your audience is going to learn from your speech and your presentation. Okay? So, I just want to go over the 3 keys again. Okay? 3 keys to go from author to paid speaker. Okay? Number 1 is to make sure that when you're writing your book, don't go at it alone. Because most people who write their books by themselves, not everybody, but many do write their books incorrectly. Okay? So you want to make sure that you're very clear on your target reader, the problem, and your target reader, the purpose of your book, and the problem that you solve. Number 2, you want to, once you do number 1, which is write a strategic, what I call bankable book, then you're prepared to turn your book into a signature speech. You can take your chapters and turn those into signature speeches or workshops. You can take stories and lessons from your book, or if you have included your coaching frameworks or your teaching frameworks in your book, then you can take that same framework and make it the title of like your signature core speech. And number 3, you got to understand that marketing is required. So the same way that you have to market your book, you have to market yourself as a speaker. So you need to be building your brand. You need to be consistent with spreading your message. You need to build relationships with the gatekeepers, and you need to be able to confidently articulate who you are, what you do, who you serve, and the problem that you solve. Okay, so I want you guys to look out. I'm actually partnering with one of my corporate speaking coaches to teach a 4-week course called Get Paid to Speak. And this is going to be a live course, meaning that we're going to meet live. Start over 4 Saturdays. I think each session is like an hour, and we're going to be teaching you everything that you need to know to get paid to speak. So if you're an author or an aspiring speaker, you're absolutely going to love this. Is going to be the only time that we teach this live. After this time, it's only going to be available as a pre-recorded self-study course. So if you want to get in live, you want to do the assignments and get feedback on that stuff, then you're definitely going to want to stay tuned for that. And the registration for that will open up next week. Okay, registration is limited. There are only 20 spaces, and I tell you this, all my mastermind students already got a space, so there's probably about 15 spaces remaining. So just make sure that you look out for that registration. We're going to start the first day of class is the last Saturday of February. I think it's February 27th at 8 a.m. Okay, so all the sessions will be held on Saturdays at 8 o'clock a.m. Eastern, and yes, you'll have access to the replays. Now, in the meantime, I want you to go to my website and download my free checklist called 10 Steps to Get Booked to Speak in Less Than 30 Days. 10 steps to get booked to speak in less than 30 days. So make sure that you go to my website to download this free checklist. You can go to www.jasminewomack.com/speaking checklist. Let me type this into the comments. If somebody on Instagram can type it, that'll be great. I'm trying to type it on Facebook. I think that's it. Yeah. JasmineWomack.com/speaking checklist. Okay, there we go. All right, so you can go there to download your free checklist, and let me know your thoughts once you download it. It's a great checklist, and that's it for today, guys. So I hope that this was helpful for you. We will be back in a couple of days. I have Write Your Book Weekend starting tomorrow, so I'm going to be a bit out of touch. And that's why I haven't been on Facebook much, because we've been preparing for it and just welcoming our new masterminders in. But yeah, make sure that you download that checklist, and I'll be back in a couple of days to share some more speaking tips with you, because I want everybody to be able to write their books and literally generate 4 to 5 figures per month working from home, guys. Like, if you have the experience, if you have the knowledge, if you have the expertise, why not? You just have to believe in yourself, and then you have to apply the strategies to do it. There's impact out here to be made, and there's definitely more revenue out here to be made as well. You just have to align yourself with it. So with that being said, thank you, LaShante. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and exit out, and thank you guys for tuning in. I'll chat with you soon.